Newly elected Premier of Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, has removed Park Stau and Nomathemba Mokgethi from his executive. Tasneem Motara is the new Economic Development and Tourism MEC, and Nomantu Nkomo-Ralehoko takes over the Health and Wellness portfolio. Joining us now to look at the new MECs under Premier Lesufi is political analyst Xolani Dube. Xolani, always a pleasure to have you on our program. Let's start with the two individuals who didn't make the cut, Park Stau and Nomathemba Mokgethi. What are we to make of this decision to cut them out of the Executive Council under Lesufi's leadership?
Look, let's accept this first. The cabinet that he announced are not his. Lesufi is not a free person, or is not a free leader in that province, but there is a leash around his neck because a dominant faction of the ANC is the one that is dictating what is supposed to happen in Johannesburg, so as well as in his cabinet. Currently, the most powerful MEC in Gauteng is Lebogang Maile. And so I think they've managed to zombify Lesufi, and it's just a zombie in that cabinet. And so the people who are really in charge are those who claim to be Adiwele. And so when you look even the composition of this cabinet, you could see that it was imposed on him. And the people who are there are those who are in line or who are sympathetic to the Adiwele. And so Lesufi is a man who's got a leash around his neck. And so even for Park Stau and the others to be discarded like that is a clear indication that the people who are in charge is Lebogang and his faction.
Right. I mean, you're suggesting that there are puppet strings involved here and that the individual who's pulling those strings behind Premier Lesufi is, in fact, Lebogang Maile. But what would be the reason behind the removal of Nomathemba Mokgethi? We know that she, of course, was placed in the position of Health MEC in 2020 at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. And since then, Gauteng Health really has been inundated with health crisis after health crisis, as well as allegations of corruption and fraud, particularly the most recent with regards to Tembisa Hospital and the death of whistleblower Babita Deokaran.
Look, you have to understand that there is a serious crisis when it comes to the health department in Gauteng. And so I think the ANC is using its own strategy of putting someone who's going to sweep everything under the carpet. And so maybe the real task of the lady that has been appointed to that position, it has nothing to do with the well-being of the health department, but it is to go there and airbrush and manage a certain crisis that was created during COVID. And so, as I'm saying, the Tembisa issue is the one that is the thorn of the integrity and the morals around the leadership in Gauteng. Possibly, I think they felt that here's the person who might be able to clean up things, or possibly she might serve as a sacrificial lamb, and so you never know what these guys are planning in the ANC. You might think that they are putting her to clean up things, but contrary, they might be using her as a sacrificial lamb.
Well, we know that the SIU has launched a probe into Tembisa Hospital and its audits, as well as allegations of fraud and corruption. How vital will it be for Lesufi to handle the outcomes of that inquiry with the sensitivity and the caution that would be necessary at the time?
Look, you're talking about a man here who was, during COVID, who was spraying classrooms with water and vinegar. You get what I mean? And so I don't think that there's any credibility or any hope that we must have when it comes to Lesufi fighting against corruption, And so I think it will be just the continuation of what we've been experiencing in South Africa in relation to the Gauteng governance. It's just a horror and a horror. There's nothing else really that we might expect here.
Well, this new Executive Council, we know, Xolani, is supposed to lend strength to the Premier. The next 18 months are not going to be easy, and there will be crucial in terms of the ANC's ability to not only retain what's left of its electoral base in the province, but perhaps even improve its electoral performance come 2024. The makeup of this council, individuals like Mzi Khumalo taking over eGov, Cocta, a very crucial portfolio right now when we look at coalition parties. The names that have been named here, that have been listed, do you think they're going to be able to do just that, lend strength to the Premier in the next coming 18 months and give him the support he needs to galvanize whatever is remaining of the ANC's support in Gauteng?
Look, these guys, when they dish out this portfolio, is like a Halloween candy. There is no merit. And there is no merit to say, look, these are the kind of people that we need at this particular epoch in our province. They just distribute it like Halloween candy. But even what Panyaza was saying, he was dishing invisible gifts. When he was telling us about the state bank and these are the same rhetoric. There was Pakistan who came with the township economy, and also Lebogang Maile some years back. Remember that he was talking about township gas, and they have so many semantics and lots of things that they want to tell us, but when it comes to practicality, they run short. And so I don't think really that whatever that they say to us, we have to take it seriously, because for the past 28 years, when you look around the lives of the natives in Alexandra, in Soweto, around in the city bank, and you feel as if we are in inferno. And when they come with this kind of kind of promises, to say they will be doing this and that, we know it very well that they are reading from the old horrible script of promising us things that they will never fulfill. And so I don't think that there's anything that you have to expect from Panyaza Lesufi with his cabinet, so-called.
Well, just last week, we were dealing with the after effects of the conflict that we've been seeing at local government level within these multi-party coalitions. Johannesburg ousting one mayor and replacing it with another, replacing it with the ANC's Dada Morero. Now, we know that conflict amongst opposition parties in these coalition government is going to be a thorn in the side of the ANC leading up to the 2024 local government elections. What role can or should Lesufi play in trying to stabilize these local governments, get them into working order again, and of course, I suppose, lend support to Dada Morero as he sets out with his mayoral campaign? But what should he be doing to try and stabilize these local governments that pretty much have been in upheaval for the last couple of months?
Look, you have to understand that the coalition government, they are supposed to operate like an ecosystem, where no one is supposed to have this ego that is going to rise above other people's ego. It is about compromise, it's about give and take. And so in an ecosystem, everyone is important, because once you do away with a particular element in an ecosystem, everything falls apart, And so here we're dealing with politicians who are inward looking. And so they can't function in a coalition like in an ecosystem, because it's about them and them alone. And so they don't really care about this coalition. You know it very well, the issue of Egurulene, the issue of Johannesburg and Swane, that we are heading towards elections. And so these guys, they don't have any revenue that they can generate except from stealing from these local municipalities. And so I don't think that the service delivery is their priority, but what is important for them is their political preservation and the preservation of their livelihood.
Xolani Dube, thank you so much. We're going to leave it there. That's a political analyst, Xolani Dube, helping us to unpack the latest developments coming out of the Gauteng provincial legislature.